that shit, you don't think about it because you have a mission to do. It's when you come back, and it's not even when you come back from that mission that day.
I'm still here, and it just makes you think, like, why did that happen to me?
Feeling down, never felt this down before.
Yeah. I mean, there was a point where I had a handgun in my hand. You know what I mean?
Thinking thoughts I shouldn't be thinking. So many things went wrong. So many friends have gone. I've been hurting for
Welcome everybody to the Straight Talk Podcast. I am Johnny Moe, and today's guest is actually a family member, cousin to my wife, Matt Dunaway. Matt is a 2008 graduate of Cuyahoga Falls High School in Ohio. Joined the military because of a military service tradition. Family tradition. He was a ground pounder 0311 and then did that 5 years and 8 months. He has a couple deployments, Afghanistan and a MEU, which was a med cruise in 13. Got out of active duty Marine Corps, joined the Army National Guard for 3 years, and then said, you know what, I'm smarter than this. I'm going to join the Air Force. So joined the Air Force and tried to be a pararescueman. Unfortunately, he was injured during training, got some back injuries. Instead of waiting around for a medical retirement, he took the separation. And about 3 months ago, his mindset completely changed, and he called me up and he said, I want to do your show because I'm in a much better mindset now, and I want to share this story. So, Matt, thanks for being here today and joining us for this to share your story. I appreciate it, my friend.
Anytime. I'm happy to be here, man. Happy to be here.
Good. So I know everything about you, but tell the listeners about you and why you joined the Marine Corps and you didn't come to, us smart guys in the Air Force.
So it's funny because I tried joining the Army first. So I went over to the Army recruiter's office. I was like, hey, I want to be an Army Ranger. They said, do a bunch of push-ups. And I did a bunch of push-ups, and they said, all right, you can at least do some push-ups. So we started filling out the paperwork and everything. I lived a pretty crazy childhood. I got arrested when I was younger, and we got to that portion and they said, we can't take you anymore. So I got extremely angry. I went out to my car, I punched my window, and they looked at me and were like, oh man, this guy's a mess. So they took me over to the Marine Corps recruiter and they said, this guy will definitely take you. And Sergeant Copus at the time said, yep, you'll fit in just fine. And so I started going in the process with the Marine Corps. Originally, I was going to be in the Army, but they didn't want me. So,
man, the Marine Corps will fucking take anybody.
Yeah. We had a guy in our DEP program. He had a neck tattoo, and they told him, if you get that removed, you can join the Marine Corps. He was in the process of having it removed. Halfway through it, the policies changed. And they said if you had scars from tattoo removal, you couldn't join. So,
oh shit!
Yeah, he paid a lot of pain and a lot of money to get a tattoo removed, and he still wasn't able to join.
Well, you heard what Tiffany did before she went in. Did you hear about that? She had a cross behind, Tiffany being my daughter, his second. She had a cross behind her ear, just a single line right here, and then something on her knuckle. I don't remember what it was. And they said those got to be removed. So we went over to, oh my God, I can't remember where we went now. Anyway, we went to a cosmetic guy that I know that does that kind of stuff. And he said, well, you can take 6 weeks to 3 months to get it removed with a laser, or I can cut them out and you can be ready to go in 2 weeks. And she said, fucking cut it out.
Ooh.
He cut it out behind her ear, and he cut it out off of her knuckle finger thing.
I bet that did not feel good.
He was good to go. I'm like, you're fucking dedicated. Like, you're ready to change your life, aren't you? And she goes, Dad, I can't do this couch hopping bullshit no more. So,
when you know it's time to go, you'll do anything to get out.
Time to go, you'll go. So actually, she's doing incredibly well. She's I don't know if you heard or not, but she got picked up by the Thunderbirds. She'll be part of the
I heard
team in January.
That's huge, man. That's huge.
Also made E5. So,
oh man,
E5 and
look
under
at
4.
that.
Man. I'm like, who are you, and what did you do with my kid?
Yeah, I could even get E5 in 10 years.
Yeah, but you hopped around. So
Yeah,
we're not gonna
that's
hold that
awesome.
shit. So, you know, yes, you will do almost anything when you are at that end and you're ready to go in. And unfortunately, they do all this training for you while you're in, and they don't ever tell you how to get out.
No.
When you was in Afghanistan, you know, you did some stuff in Helmand and the Pakistani border. You were there just before I was. I got there when did I get there? No, I got there in September of 11 in Qatar.
Okay.
I was flying in and out of Iraq and Afghanistan and the whole area over there. And so,
yeah, so you were getting there right when we were wrapping stuff up.
Yep. Yeah, we shut down Iraq. I was one of the last flights out of Baghdad and Kirkuk and shit like that. So I know what you were dealing with over there. I flew over a couple firefights over that area that you were in, and tell me about that, man. How that affected?
We packed a lot of firepower, and we were in a lot of open terrain. I rolled on LAV-25s. We were mounted infantry. So an LAV-25 is basically a smaller tank, 4 wheels each side. It's got a 25 millimeter Bushmaster cannon, a 240 coax, and a 240 pindle mount. That's all operated by our crewmen. I was an 0311, so I rode in the back, and then we would pop out and do our patrols. We never really got into too much direct contact. Everything was IEDs, and everything was mortars. They love just putting these 105 rounds on sand hills, lighting them off and just lobbing them at us from Pakistan, because they knew we couldn't shoot them while they were in Pakistan, because we'd be starting an international war with Pakistan. So they like to play dirty. Our platoon sergeant told us before we deployed, watch your backs. All the dumb ones are dead. The smart ones are still alive. So we found we were clearing out a town called Wazirabad. We found 33 IEDs in 72 hours. My buddy Mitch and my roommate Hankins, we're doing what's called 5s and 25s. It's as soon as you park, you sweep the 5 meters away with your eyes, you get out, then you sweep around the vehicle. Once you get to the end of the vehicle, you push out your perimeter and you do a 25-meter search. Mitch was on my right with Hankins. They stepped on a pressure plate. I was over the main charge, and the IED did not go off.
Oh my God.
The only reason the IED did not go off is it rained the night before. And rain in Afghanistan doesn't happen. So we got pretty lucky on that one. We had EOD attached to us most of the time because of the amount of IEDs we were running into. They dug it up. They got to the battery pack. They usually used, what were those? Like D-cell, C-cell batteries just taped together in packing tape. And some moisture got in that packing tape. So when they stepped on the pressure plate, it couldn't complete the circuit to make the bomb blow. So, yeah.
So I cannot imagine what went through your head with that. You want to talk about that for a minute? Like that first instant of when you hear that little click, and can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we didn't think much of it at the time. It was just kind of like, oh, well, that could have been bad, but nothing happened. So I'm pretty sure I just popped a Marlboro Red in my mouth, lit it up, and kept going, man.
Right.
Because, you know, you're outside the wire. You can't be
know.
hung up on little stuff like that.
I talk to so many people, and that's what we talk about when you're going through that shit. You don't think about it because you have a mission to do. It's when you come back, and it's not even when you come back from that mission that day or 3 days or whenever you're coming back. It's when you have that quiet time at your own house. It's when you're out with your buddies and some smell reminds you of something. It's
never immediate, man.
It's never ever immediate. And when it hit you back home that, hey, I could have died and I didn't, what'd that do to you?
It's just kind of, because I mean, this has happened to me multiple occasions where I should have died, but I'm still here. And it just makes you think, like, why did that happen to me? You know what I mean? I've been in many situations where I should just be done, but for some reason I'm still alive. So it kind of makes you just wonder what's going on. You know what I mean?
Right.
It just makes your mind kind of wander, and a wandering mind is never a good
Go
thing.
everywhere.
Yeah.
You go everywhere with it. And some, I guess if you've never been in that position or had that situation happen to you, you don't understand. When we say everywhere, we fucking mean everywhere. Like, you are all over the fucking place with, well, why am I still here? What am I supposed to be doing? You start questioning your own worth, your own value. You know, why was I saved? Why were they not? Where am I supposed to go with this? What am I supposed to do with this? Luckily for you, you had a plan when you got out of the Marine Corps. You were like, screw, I'm going right back in. And you told me you didn't have any real issues when you got out of
No.
Or I mean, you might have drank a little bit more, but it wasn't real bad because you had a plan to go into the Guard. And you were into the Guard for 3 years. You still maintained your demeanor, your mental health. You still maintained all that stuff.
Yeah, I never really let it go. You know, I always had this mindset up until the stuff with the Air Force didn't work out. You know what I mean? Everything from the time I was 19 until just recently was just go. Yeah. That's it. Never take a break, never let up, just gas pedal the whole time.
Never take care of yourself.
Yep, that's pretty much, yeah, man.
It's true. You don't. You take care of everybody else. And I think it's worth noting too that, well, Matt is a former jarhead and a combat guy. He's also a fucking fireman and a paramedic. So he works for 3 different units, 24-hour shifts. It's go, and it's constant boredom surrounded by 15 minutes of sheer terror, right?
Yep. Yeah. It's just like a deployment, man.
It's just like a deployment. And it's almost like you thrive on that kind of stuff.
I really do.
I believe it. I believe it. And, you know, you had some stuff happen. I apologize. I can't remember when your mom passed, but I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago, right? If I remember.
Oh,
right.
This was, I was 18. So that was.
Oh, shit. It was that long ago.
Yeah.
Man.
Let's
so,
see.
You know, 18 years old and you lose your mom, and then you go to the military and your dad takes a job overseas, and you know, a lot going on, but you just kept going.
Yep. I never took time to take care of myself, man.
You never processed any of that shit. You just kept going. And now, you know, here you are 13 years later. So you're 30 something years old, and you hit me up a couple months ago and you're like, I'm ready to talk.
Yeah.
What tell me how dark you got. Tell me how deep into well, I mean, we'll just spit it out. You thought about suicide.
Yeah. I mean, there was a point where I had a handgun in my hand, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right next to me. And it's hard to really think of one specific event that led me to that place. You know what I mean? It's
very seldom one specific event. It's a pile on, it's an addition of this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and never letting it out.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, because my mom got diagnosed with cancer when I was 14. So that would have been 2004. You know, I remember just being at the park. We were going sledding. It was winter. My dad just like, hey, just want to let you know your mom's test results came back and she had cancer. I was 14. I really didn't know much about that. So I was just like, oh, okay. You know, I thought it was just like a routine health thing. I didn't know much about it. So I was just like, all right, I'm going to go hang out with my friends. And it never really hit me until the years went on. And I really saw the cancer just like suck the life out of her.
Yeah, it did.
And then she passed when I was either 18 or 19. So that would have been 2008-ish. And it was like right after that, I fell into some bad stuff when I was a kid. You know, I was partying. I didn't care about school. I played football, and I just played football because I liked hitting people. I always thought that was fun. And you know, I barely got by in school. I can't believe I actually graduated. It wasn't that I was.
Neither can the rest of us. Just saying.
And it wasn't because I wasn't smart. I got accused of cheating on my Ohio graduation test because I did pretty good on it, and they're just like, "You have all Fs." I'm just like, because none of this shit interests me, man. It's boring. Yeah, I just want to go out and party with my friends. And so then she passed. A couple months went by, and I was like, man, you really got to do something with your life. You can't keep doing this every day. And, you know, the military was always a thought in the back of my mind. I just never pulled the trigger on it because my mom was sick and I didn't want to leave home. And I'm just like, you got nothing holding you back now, man. So that's when I went to the Army recruiter, and then couldn't join with him. So I ended up with the Marine recruiter.
The Army recruiter is a pretty funny story, man. You know,
yeah.
You ought to bring that one up real quick, because that's hilarious. And all my jarhead buddies, especially this dude, Mark Cooper, who I ran into this weekend, who just wanted to fight at the drop of a hat this weekend. And I've known him for probably 6 years.
Yeah,
he misunderstood me, and we were going to throw down right in the parking lot, and I couldn't stop laughing. So shout out to Mark Cooper, man. I love you, my friend.
The Marine's always ready to fight. All right,
tell him about your little Army experience.
I initially was going to join the Army. Both my grandfathers were in the Army. My grandpa Mike on my mom's side fought in Korea with the 2nd Infantry Division. My grandpa Mike on my dad's side, he retired from the Army. He made prosthetics. So I thought the Army was my go-to. I wanted to be a Ranger. I went in the Army recruiter's office and I was like, hey, I want to be a Ranger. They told me to immediately start doing push-ups, knocked out a bunch of push-ups, and they said, all right, you're good. Start filling out paperwork. Then we get to the question about being arrested. And I was arrested my senior year for drug abuse. I had some weed with me, got arrested, did my community service, and that was an automatic no-go for them. I got extremely mad because I had a short trigger when I was a younger kid. And I went out, I punched my Camry window. They came out and were like, are you okay? I'm just like, no, like, this is what I wanted to do, blah, blah, blah. And they're just like, we got a good person for you to talk to. So they took me over to the Marine Corps recruiter, and then that was it. I joined the Marine Corps. No questions asked. I just simply told the Marine recruiter I wanted to shoot stuff, blow stuff up, and that's all I cared about. And he said he had a job for me. So
that's hilarious. That's hilarious. You know, you didn't know me back when you weren't born, but I was 4'11", 98 pounds in high school. So when I walked into the Marine recruiter, they're like, fuck no, you're too short. Ain't happening. Go see the Navy. I'm like, fuck you, I ain't going to the Navy.
Yeah, it took me a while to leave, actually, for the Marine Corps. For some reason, they couldn't get me a contract. I told them I want to do infantry. And if you can't give me infantry, don't bring anything else my way. So we actually did an IST, initial strength test, mile and a half run, sit-ups, pull-ups. It's like a modified PFT.
Sure.
We're just not doing the 3-mile run. So I smoke checked that thing. And the regimental sergeant major came up and asked me what job I wanted to do. And I said, I want to be in the infantry. And he's like, well, 6 years work? I was a dumb young kid. I was just like, I will take anything you'll give me. So I got a 6-year contract.
There you go.
Right off the bat. And then that $7,500 signing bonus I got with it, probably all went to Domino's pizzas, booze, and whatever else I was into whenever I got it.
Cocaine and strippers. Here we go. Fucking Camp Lejeune. What's that town right outside?
Jacksonville, North Carolina. Armpit of North Carolina.
What's the one with a B that's right outside? I can't remember it. Anyway, I got a buddy that talks about that place all the fucking time.
If you go out the back gate,
Buford,
Buford, South Carolina.
Yeah, that's South Carolina. Yep.
Yeah. If you go out the back gate of Lejeune, though, man, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I signed the contract, 6 years. Went to boot camp December 13th of 2009. And boy, that was a culture shock for me.
I bet.
You know what I mean? I was a young kid, just being a hellion, doing whatever I wanted, didn't care what anybody said. And then I got some guy all up in my face screaming. For the first 3 weeks, I didn't think I was gonna make it. I'm just like, I don't think I'm gonna make it, man. I don't think I'm gonna make it.
That's what they do to you, man. That's what they do to you.
Yeah, they just strip you down of everything you have.
And then you made it.
Mm-hmm.
And you got that EGA on your chest, and you're like, fuck yeah, I'm a U.S. Marine, man.
Yeah.
And nobody can ever take that away from you, you know?
Nope. Even being in 3 different branches of service, I still claim the title of a Marine overall.
Oh, absolutely. And nobody would ever fault you for that. Nobody would ever say a word about that, you know? You made it through, is it called the Crucible?
Crucible? Yeah.
You made it through the Crucible. You earned your EGA. As long as you don't ever, become a felon or get a dishonorable, you're always going to be a U.S. Marine. Always. The rest of your life.
Yeah. I mean, it was literally a life-changing experience for me.
Absolutely.
I went from, and I mean, it was a process. Even when I got to my unit, it took me a while to really catch on to some of the stuff about the first few months, because we went straight into a combat workup. So we hit the fleet, all 60 0311, 60 plus that I went to infantry school with, went to 2nd LAR because they were getting ready for an Afghanistan workup. So we hit the fleet hard, man. I mean, we got there, we got our senior guys were all either early Afghan vets from 2009. They just got back from a deployment, or Fallujah vets. That was all my senior guys. We got to the barracks, and it was, if you don't go to your room, lock your door, shut your curtains, you're going to get fucked with. And even if you did that, we got fucked with.
Oh, yeah.
I remember my first night sleeping in the barracks. I think we forgot to lock our window. Some guy just came crawling in through our window and just started throwing all of our stuff out the door, and we had no idea what was going on. So, yeah, I thought boot camp was a shell shock. When I hit the fleet, it was even worse, man. I was just like, what am I doing? What am I getting myself into?
Right?
You know
19 years old, thinking, what? Wouldn't this be a great spot for an advertisement on the Johnny Mo Media Straight Talk podcast? If you'd like to donate, contribute, buy some time, whatever you want to call it, email me at johnnymomedia@gmail.com or send me a message on Facebook. So we were just talking about getting back to the barracks with Matt, out to the fleet, and how he was getting messed with. I have something I've noticed with Matt. When he starts talking about his military service, he gets a little twitchy and he starts itching and everything. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Still get to you sometimes?
Yeah, it really does, man. For the longest time, I kind of just didn't talk about my military career with anybody, because I don't really know why, but it's something I was very passionate about. And honestly, I wish I would have never got out, but it's the cards I was dealt, man. I thought I was going to do 20 years and never work another job, but that's just the hand I was dealt. So yeah,
it's hard on some of us. I get what you were saying earlier, how you kept everything in. When I broke my back, the military actually said, no, you just pulled a muscle. Here's some Flexeril and some Motrin, go sleep for 3 days. And I didn't find out my back was broken until 10 years later when I had a car accident. And they did a full spinal, and they're like, hey, that's a fracture. How'd you break your back? I never broke my back. They're like, yeah, anywhere from 8 to 10 years ago. Holy shit, I know exactly when that happened.
Yeah.
and stayed in until I couldn't take it anymore and ended up having to have back surgery. And ultimately it was 23 and a half years when I finally said, all right, I gotta go. I can't fight this anymore. You know, like you, the legs would go numb. You get that rush of burning feeling down your leg. Can't sit for, you know, a 12-hour mission in a C-130C. You know, couldn't run the mile and a half anymore because of the jarring and the pain. Definitely couldn't do a sit-up anymore because I got rods and screws back there.
Yeah.
So it hit a whole lot harder than I thought it was going to hit when I got out. I'm just curious, when you were finally done with the Air Force, right? And that was your third service. It had been about 10 total years. How did that affect you when you finally realized, look, yeah, I'm injured. I can't do this anymore. How'd that hit you?
I was lost, man. I didn't know what to do. You know what I mean?
I do.
Because my stress, and it was hard because my stress reliever my whole life has been physical training. You know what I mean? Going out there, putting a ruck on, going for 20, 30 miles and just completely zoning out. And then I come back and I feel better. And I couldn't do that anymore. I tried. When 3 months after 3 days after I got pulled from selection, I tried to work out. I go to the gym at 4 a.m. and it was just thrashing my back and my hips. And I kept doing it though. I was in extreme pain, excruciating pain, but it was the only thing that I knew how to do. And I continued to do that for probably about 5 or 6 months. And then my right hip, I was home at this time.
Yeah.
I was just walking through the grocery store with my wife and my right hip just gave out on me and I just fell to the ground. I'm just like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like, why is that happening? And my wife, he's all right. My wife's just like, yeah, it's because you're beating the crap out of yourself and you just got injured. And I'm just like, that's all I know though. Like, what else am I supposed to do? She's like, you need to take care of yourself. And, you know, that was probably about a year and a half ago. And I'm just like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing my whole life. So I did. I kept trying to work out, do all this stuff, trying to fill this void that I had in my life. I was just constantly trying to fill this void. I thought, you know, being a firefighter, paramedic would fill that void of being a PJ. And it really, there's nothing that can fill that void. And that's what I've come to realize here in these past few months. That's when I texted you. I'm just like, I'm trying to make something that isn't able to be made. I'm trying to fill this void with stuff that will never fill it and stuff like that. So kind of just came to accept life. My whole life, I've been just a nomad going from place to place to place to place, doing whatever I want. And I'm kind of looking at things differently now and seeing Forrest wants to come say hi to everyone.
What?
Forrest. Yeah, he's a Treeing Walker Coonhound. He's a good boy.
Oh my God.
Get down, Bubba.
You know, you talk about being a nomad and then all of a sudden you're done. And I think many of us feel that way, especially when you're on active duty, because the opportunity and the chance of movement is always there, right?
Yeah.
Always.
And I love that. I live.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not tied. You don't think you're tied to anything. You try not to hold yourself down in one community. You make the best of what you got, and then boom, you're gone. Right? Let's try again somewhere else.
Yeah.
And when you're out and you're in the same house at 5 o'clock every day, and you get up at the same time, and you have to pick out your clothing, and you're like, what in the fuck kind of life is this?
Yeah.
And
it's overload, man. I just didn't.
Hard.
I didn't know how to take care of a house. You know what I mean?
You don't know how to be a husband. You don't know how to be a dad. I mean, you don't have kids yet, but you got animals, and you know, how do I do this essentially 9 to 5 civilian gig and not go fucking crazy?
Yeah.
You know, have said that, you know, you had the suicidal ideations, and one thing that turned your mind around about 3 months ago was a visit to the doctor. Can you tell me what that doctor said or the PA said to you, and
Yeah.
why it just happened to be at that moment that you decided to open up?
So I was at the VA. You know how they go through all those screening questions for your appointment. You have suicidal ideation, you suffer from anxiety, depression, and blah, 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 all the rest of the jargon they asked you. You know, and I was sitting there and I'm just like, I've had all this stuff for 10 years. And, you know, I've just lied about all my health stuff just because gas pedal was always on.
You had to stay.
And
I mean, that's what it was.
every health assessment I ever did, the Marine Corps, National Guard, Air Force, no, 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 no. I'm fine. I'm good. Just let me get to my next school. The next thing I got to do. I don't have time to deal with this stuff right now.
Right.
So she asked me, you know, do you have suicidal ideations? Do you have anxiety, depression? I'm just like, yep, I have all those. And she just looked at me like, what? People are supposed to say no. You know what I mean?
What do you mean? Yes. I don't know how to deal with this.
You could tell this nurse was very kind. She took a little extra more time with me, just asked me some personal questions, asked me about home life and stuff like that. And I feel like she did a great job, you know, that was sprung on her. She offered the mental health services at the VA and everything. And I was actually at the doctor's that day because my anxiety and my depression was getting bad, man. Like my stomach was all messed up. I was having diarrhea like every day. Mentally, I was just checked out at that time.
Yeah.
And I was going to talk to my doctor about, Forrest is not happy that I'm not paying attention to him. So I went there to talk to my doctor about all of that, and then maybe trying to get on some medication to help me out a little bit.
Sure.
Because unfortunately, with the job I do now, it's still pretty go, go, go. You know what I mean? It's pretty gas pedal all the time, but I have breaks. Like right now, I took a comp day on Friday, so I'm off for a week straight. So I have time to kind of decompress and take care of myself. And when I went to that appointment, I'm just like, this is the time. Like, you can't bullshit around this anymore. This either needs to happen now or it's never going to happen. So I just spoke up. She referred me to mental health at the VA. I've been there twice. I don't know. I've been there twice. You know what I mean?
Which clinic you going to? Akron?
Yeah. Yep. Up at Akron. The guy's nice, but it's not really what I expected. You know, so I'm seeking outside help from a place called the Azalea Institute. They specialize in PTSD, anxiety, and depression. So I just got to get set up with them, and I think that will be a big help for me. All right, just give me a second here. This dog, he's
fine. He ain't hurt.
Okay, there he is.
What's he hurt?
Disappeared. Nothing.
Exactly.
Just being anxious because I haven't walked him yet today.
Hey, I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago with some people because I haven't recorded in about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be from my shoulder surgery, the replacement, and just being depressed and can't work, whatever. And I said, you know, I couldn't edit. This was jacked up. And they just looked at me and said, fucking put it on there. You know, what's great about the show is that it's not professional done. So, you know what, if we have a dog causing an issue or Tiffany's cat decides to come over here and walk on the keyboard, you know, I mean,
it is what it is, man.
It is what it is. We get what we get, you know. I commend you, and brother, I can't wait to see you again. I'm so proud of you for admitting that you couldn't do it anymore. And that's the hardest fucking thing I've ever done next to quitting alcohol, was admitting that I don't have the capacity to handle these kind of things.
Yeah.
And I was holding on too tight. I know that's a cliche, but I was holding on to everything inside of me and just not letting anything out. And I'm a pussy if I cry. You know, you're a fucking asshole if you get in my way. Fuck that, man. Just it's so
you gotta
much
be vulnerable.
Easier. Oh, it's so much easier to just let everything out and be like, yeah, I bawled like a little bitch last night for 30 minutes. About what? You know what? I really can't tell you. My daughter said something and I fucking lost it. And it kept me that way for 30 minutes.
Yeah, and you're 100% correct too. Like alcohol is nothing but an accelerant for all that stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Too, man.
Absolutely. Nothing but a depressant, and it just it takes you down. And people want to say, well, I drink to fall asleep. Well, you know what? Drinking those 6-8 beers to fall asleep, 4 hours into that, your sugar levels are ridiculously high, and you're going to wake up A, to pee, and B, because you can't sleep because your body's processing all that sugar. So you're not getting good sleep. You're not diving down into REM. You're not staying in REM. The alcohol is just and I'm not going to preach to anybody. You fucking do your own thing. I know what worked for me and what doesn't. Alcohol does not fucking work with me.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Oh, and he froze. Go ahead. You froze.
Oh, I froze.
Damn it. That was probably a great fucking line, too.
No, it wasn't. I barely drink anymore, man. I maybe have 1 or 2 beers and that's it. I just can't. I can't. I had a terrible relationship with alcohol when I was in the Marine Corps and everything. We had a weekend off. It was blackout drunk. Pretty much every night.
My drinking, I didn't realize it until I quit drinking that every time I drank, I blacked out. I didn't know. You know, well, how would you know if you're by yourself? And how would you know?
Yeah.
And that was me, man, from day one, blackout. You know?
And yeah, that's how I was too. I got home from the Marine Corps and my wife's just like, why did you drink like that? I'm just like, it's what I've always done. That's all I know. So
6 beers an hour is not fucking normal. What? Right?
I really tapered off my drinking prior. When I was training for the PJ stuff.
Really?
I really became like, I was like die hard about my training. I wouldn't touch alcohol. I ate amazingly. I mean, I put so much work into that. And that's why I think that was probably the hardest one for me.
Yeah, I bet.
Because the amount of work that I put in and then to get selected to go as a prior service guy was a whole different ball game. You know, I had to submit. Yeah.
And they don't normally take prior service.
I had to go in front of a board. My package had to be selected. I had to have my PT standards in a certain category for them to pick me. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So that's when I really tapered off the drinking. And then I got back. I drank some, you know, but I never drank to the degree that I did in the Marine Corps because I knew I was playing with fire. I did, I knew I was playing with fire. So.
Yep. I never got in trouble for alcohol the whole time I was in the military. Not once.
You did?
No, not once got talked about. Not once missed a formation, missed a flat, nothing. It wasn't until 2008. Well, you graduated. A month after I quit. It was Tiffany's 13th birthday. And I was passed out. Not passed out. I was blacked out at 4:30 in the afternoon. And I didn't start until 3:30. I mean, within an hour of drinking, I was blacked out, and you know, Ralph was with us, and he was like, "Who in the fuck is this guy?" And you know, 3 hours later, I'm putting hands on Trish to push her out of my way because I'm mad. I can't find my kids. Like, why? Who the fuck does this at their kid's birthday party, right? Well, this dumbass right here.
Hey, man.
And she kicked me out. There. Oh my god, dude! She kicked me out, and you know, I went to the AA website. How do I know I'm an alcoholic? And there's a test on there. And goddamn it, if I didn't fucking score perfect on that son of a, you know? And, you know, that's a real kick in the fucking balls. And,
it is, man. It takes a life event like that sometimes to make you turn around. You know what I mean?
Right. You know, I never had a DUI, never lost a job, never missed a job, none of that shit. And I just thought, well, the only person I'm hurting is me. And there I was at, let's see, how old was I? 36. You know, just thinking I'm going to be that drunk down at the Army, Navy, or the American Legion on, you know, Saturday morning at 10 a.m. getting my fucking fix. And
Yeah,
can't live
I
like
mean,
that.
I hate to say it, but the military kind of promotes that lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Not if you ask them.
Yeah.
If you have one beer a day at 3 o'clock when you get off of work every day, you're an alcoholic. Because I schedule my drinking? Yes, because you schedule your drinking. What the fuck?
Yeah, I unfortunately I did run into some trouble, alcohol related in the Marine Corps. Let's see, I moved everything outside. So
Froze up again. But we'll just keep talking here for a second while he gets his stuff fixed up.
yeah.
You back? There you go. You're back.
All right. Good.
Yep. You ran into some problems at Marine Corps. Nope, we're frozen again. You might have to go back in, Matt.
Oh yeah, I think we're frozen again. Come on, Forrest. We're gonna try to go back outside. My Wi-Fi connection's not good. Yeah, so we just got back from Afghanistan. This was St. Patty's Day of 2012.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I was a 12-pack in deep at the barracks already. And then friends come and ask me, hey, do you want to go out to Carolina Beach for St. Patty's Day? Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go. It's a good idea.
So we go out, we bar hop a bunch, drink an extreme amount of alcohol.
Yeah.
I get back, I forgot my phone somewhere. So I jumped in the car to go get my phone.
Bad news.
As soon as I got in the car, got pulled over.
Yeah.
And Marine Corps, I was in jail for 3 days. They let me sit. Yep, they let me sit for 3 days in general population. Got out, you know, who's the first person you call when you do something dumb? Called my dad. Let him know. And actually, I had my platoon sergeant at the time, was a good guy. He's like, listen, man, been there. Get a lawyer. It's gonna suck, but just get a lawyer. So I did, got a lawyer. First court case got pushed forward. Then I went to court, had my service alphas on and everything, looking all snazzy. My lawyer calls me over. I'm just like, hey, what's up? He's just like, your court case is getting dismissed. I'm just like, what? I'm just like, yeah, it's getting dismissed. Your arresting officer got a DUI 3 weeks after you. And they did not subpoena him because he's a civilian now to testify you against you in court. So your case is dismissed. And I was just like, holy shit. Wow. Oh my God.
Talk about fucking smelling like a rose.
Oh, I couldn't believe it, man.
Right.
I could not believe it. And I got back and everyone's like, how was it? I'm just like, I got dismissed. My my company company OPSO, Master Sergeant Vickers, he's like, fuck yeah, Dunaway, good job. I'm just like, Master Sergeant, I didn't even do anything. He's just like, I know, but you didn't get a DUI, so that's something to be proud of. I'm just like, right. I should have, but so after that, I went out to 29 Palms and trained with Bravo Company. They didn't NJP me for 6 months after that. I don't know what the delay was.
Weird.
But it was like it got dismissed. I went to training. 6 months later, I got NJP'd. I kept my rank. My platoon sergeant, platoon commander went to bat for me for my rank, because at that time I was a team leader, and I was good at what I did. You know, I was a good team leader. So they let me keep my rank. It was a battalion level NJP. Kept my rank. Got 45 days restriction. 45 days extra duty, and loss of pay. And I was on restriction for, I think it lined up pretty well. I missed Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and I think I missed New Year's Day as well. So I was on restriction for that whole leave block, just kind of hanging out in the barracks, sulking in my own misery.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I came back from that pretty strong. After I got NJP'd, I became section leader, squad leader of my squad. I had about 14, 15 guys underneath me as a lance corporal, and that is a job of a staff sergeant. So I was doing a job of someone, I was an E3 and I was doing the job of an E6 pretty much.
Yeah.
So that actually helped me a lot, because the way I was raised in the Marine Corps was you take care of your Marines, you take care of the mission, and then take care of yourself. So I had someone underneath me, and it's like, dude, you can't just be out partying and doing whatever you want. You got guys you're in charge of now, and you need to take care of them. So that actually helped me out a lot.
Yep.
Well, should I go into that segment?
Sure, man. We're here for you, brother.
Okay. So yeah, that was after Afghanistan. Like I said, we didn't see too much crazy stuff in Afghanistan. IEDs, rockets. Oh geez, I say we don't see any crazy stuff, then stuff pops up in my head.
Right.
So
we used to say, I didn't do that much. I didn't do that much. But then when you're talking with somebody who's been there, like they fucking know I'm lying. You know, I know there's shit over there.
Yeah. So 2 deployments, I've seen 2 helicopters crash. And they have both been roughly about 100, 150 feet away from me. The first one was in Afghanistan. We did a thing called aerial interdiction.
Mm-hmm.
We had 2 Cobras. Those were our assault force, 2 CH-53s. That's what we rode on. The Cobras would see trucks, big tankers. They do a show of force, make them stop. The CH-53s land. I was the first one off. I was a saw gunner. I loved being a saw gunner. That was that was my baby.
Oh yeah.
And, they were just like, we're gonna give you. When I first got to the fleet, they said you can run fast and you're strong, so we're gonna give you a saw because we know you won't fall out. And I never fell out. So I was always the first one off our CH-53 because I had the saw. So if anybody wanted to fuck around and find out, I would just let a fucking belt rip and let it happen. So we got grounded. We had red air. A sandstorm came in. So we were just hanging out. Red air got lifted. We started spinning up. We get on our CH-53. I'm probably just talking shit to Mitchell because he was my good friend and we like to talk shit to each other. So that's what we did.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden we just hear a boom and we're just like, what the heck is that? We look out behind us and one of the Apaches is on its side and it's on fire. So we carried ice chests on all the CH-53s for water and stuff. So we grabbed that and we're just going to dump this on the CH-53 to put it out. We get over there. Doc Carolus was there. He was treating the co-pilot. Oh God, that's terrible that I forget his name. I'll have to look it up. He was cut from his clavicle down to his left hip bone from the rotor blade.
Oh shit.
The rotor blade came in and cut him from his shoulder blade all the way down to his hip bone.
Ah, damn.
So now that I have medical training, pretty extensive, I realize his aorta, descending aorta was just cut right in half. So we went over to Doc Carolus and we're just like, hey, we're here. What can we do? He's like, listen, man, just get out of here. This thing is on fire. It has live hellfires and live munitions on it. It might blow. So me and Bitch looked at our little cooler that we brought, and we're just like, we ain't put this out with this. So we just ran, man. We just ran as far as we could away from there. I think the halon system went off, so it put out the fire. They tried medevacing. I gotta look that up now. I feel like a bad person for not knowing that.
Listen, I need to let you know something. I had a buddy kill himself during Christmas break, my first year in, my first 6 months, and he was in my room probably 3 or 4 nights a week crying about how hard it was and how he wasn't liked and his mom hated him and all this stuff. And that was 31 years ago, 32 years ago now. I don't remember his name, man.
Yeah.
It's, I beat myself up over it, especially over Memorial Day. It's just not something I remember. It's okay. It's fine. I know his face.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay.
You're
not always gonna remember everybody.
Yeah. So they medevaced him out. I just, knowing his injuries, we knew he wouldn't make it.
Right.
He passed from the flight from, I was at PB Wolfpack. That's my patrol base I was on. It was 60 clicks from any other base. We didn't have running water. Sometimes we had generators that made AC, but I just slept outside all the time. It felt good. We had our chow hall, we called Applebee's. Someone actually made an Applebee's sign and it looked identical. And we just got served hot rats if we weren't outside the wire. We pushed outside the wire for 2 weeks at a time. So we were I went over there weighing 175 pounds, and I left Afghanistan weighing 155 pounds.
I believe it.
Just skin and bone, man. 130-degree heat in August,
Yep, I do.
Yeah. So that was the first helicopter crash. The second one was on the MEU. On the Navy ships, they have cameras all over the place. And on your TV, you can view any of the cameras. So we were bored. We were just seeing what was going on the cameras and probably commentating what people were saying to each other at past time. So we went to the view of the flight deck. I was on an LPD. So it's more of a troop carrier. The flight deck on it's very small. It accommodates, I think, 2 CH-53s or 2 Ospreys. We had a CH-53 coming in, and we just saw it hit the back of the ship, and it just dumped right into the ocean. And we're just like, oh shit. It was all brand new people from the Navy. That was going to be their first assignment.
Wow.
They determined the CH-53 had a mechanical failure. A spark came from the rotor blades. That tire caught the net that surrounds the aircraft area and dumped into the ocean. Everyone lived, though. Everyone lived. They responded very quickly to the ocean going into the drink, and they got everyone out. So
good.
Yeah. Yep.
Good. It's still crazy when you see something that big come into crash. And I was right next to I don't remember if it might have been a Huey. I don't remember, or a 53 in Korea that the gear wasn't working. So we ended up throwing a bunch of mattresses down just to let it land. And we had to get them. Yeah, it had to hover from wherever while we sent a truck over to the dormitories to grab a bunch of mattresses. And when we threw the mattresses underneath it. Yeah, that's a trip. You'll do almost anything when in that situation,
Yeah.
I get it.
Helicopters are sketchy, man.
Yeah.
They used to tell us for the CH-53s, when the rotor's going around, it just throws oil all over the place.
Yep.
And the one guy was like, we were complaining about it. We're like, what the heck, man? We're getting so dirty from this. Like, we just got out of the field. We don't want to get any dirtier. And he's like, if it's not doing that, you need to get the fuck off this helicopter because it's about to crash.
Yeah, it's empty and we're going to crash.
I'm just like, oh, okay. I won't complain anymore.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? Here you are now, you're working. You got plenty of experiences. You're smiling. I hope you're not, faking it right now.
No, honestly, man, this is genuinely the happiest. Where did we go?
You're still there. I'm looking at it.
Okay, there we go. This is the happiest I've been probably since I've been a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just all around, just happy, finally taking care of myself. Realizing that it's not the end of the world, that I didn't become a PJ, and just kind of focusing on stuff that I haven't been able to do the past 10 years. Actually be home with my wife, have a family, actually get to talk to my family. This is all stuff that I just kind of forgot about. And it's stuff that I need to do to become the person that I want to be. You know what I mean?
Right. I do, 100%. I get it. I told Trish the other day, I'm like, man, you know what? I can look back now, and over the last 2 years, I like my growth. And I know it's so cliche and, whatever, but I've just become such a much better person over the last 2 years, and I don't want to go back to that hard-headed, cocky, arrogant fuck that I was.
Yeah.
And so I just had an issue with, well, not an issue. I had an episode with Julia yesterday, and it's just the matter of, she's 21 and it's her story to tell, so I won't get too far into it. But we had plans, but I canceled those plans, and I was happy about canceling those plans because my daughter needed me, and the only thing I had to do that day, the only thing that was required of me, was to be a dad. That's it.
Yeah.
I was okay with that, and there were times in the past when I'd be like, well, you fucking handle that shit yourself. I got plans today. This is what I got to do this for me. No, dude, I need to be dad today. And that's it. Everything else stops. I don't have to worry about, cleaning, cooking, laundry. My daughter needs me, and that's all I'm going to do. And I don't say that to get accolades from anybody. I say that because it's really that simple.
Yeah.
For me, at least, it's that simple. I just need to know what's important at that moment and be okay with that.
Yeah.
And that's all there is. That's all there is.
I agree, man. You know what I mean? You can actually, when you're gone all the time, it just doesn't affect you. It affects the people around you. You know what I mean? They're not used to having you around. They're not used to you being there for them. I mean, you're there for them long distance, but it's not the same as being home. You know what I mean? It's not.
And I think part of me was, I don't want to say upset, but I was confused, right? So when they would call or email or text with issues, I was never there. So I could just, hand it off to your mom or call somebody else to handle it. Well, now I'm here. Now I feel like I have to do everything. Well, no, you don't have to do everything. You don't have to have that capability. It's not required. Just be in the moment. And I put my phone down. I can't tell you how many times, and just leave it. I just leave it. People that record and Snapchat their concerts that they go to and shit. I'm like, man, if you're going to hate yourself because all you're going to have is that picture, that video.
Yeah.
If you would have been in the moment and noticed, 3 rows up, this woman crying, or this couple holding hands and how much they enjoyed each other's company, or the little girl with her dad at her first concert. You're missing all of these other things that are going on. And I'm that guy now. I am that guy that looks around and sees that dad with that little kid, or that little girl, or that little boy with the mom, and all I do is smile because they get it. They're in that moment. They're being present for that child. And I mean, I missed it. I missed a shit ton of it. And I make up for it now. Can I ever make up for it? Totally no. But my kids understand, and they've all talked to me about it. Tiffany's in right now. She's over in Saudi. And, Jeffrey's got to make a decision now in his senior year what he wants to go do. And All I can do is be here and listen and be the dad. I don't have to do anything else. I don't have to be a hero. I don't have to be, whatever. I just got to be dad.
Yeah, and that's a big thing I'm working on, man. It's just being in that moment instead of just constantly like, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, I got to go to this school so I can do this. I'm just like, why don't you just take a deep breath and enjoy the moment we're in, man?
Enjoy the moment.
You know what I mean? Yeah, because I've missed out on a lot. So
yeah. So if you had somebody come to you and say, listen, man, I'm really having a hard time transitioning to being a civilian. Got about 2 minutes left on this recording. What would you tell them?
I would say, are you really investing in yourself? Are you putting time into yourself? You know what I mean?
I do.
Because a lot of us think resting means just sitting on the couch, watching TV, and not putting anything back into yourself. You know what I mean?
I do.
You got to take care of yourself. You got to work out, read. There's putting time into yourself isn't just sitting there being lazy, sitting on the couch, eating ice cream. I mean, every once in a while you need that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But you have to invest in yourself because sometimes that's all you got. All you got is yourself. And how are you going to be there for others if you're not even there for yourself?
I agree.
So just take some time and invest in yourself. You know,
Matt, I'm so happy you reached out. I'm so glad that you get to be one of my first re-recordings after we come back to Johnny Mo Straight Talk podcast. And
oh yeah, man, I'm excited. I hope we can do it again. You know what I mean?
We will.
I got a long journey, man.
Chief of the firehouse, brother. Chief of the firehouse. That's going to be you, and we're going to do a follow-up mission with you.
Yeah.
Right?
Hell yeah.
All right.
That sounds great, man.
Hey, let me know when you're off again. I'll come up. We'll get lunch, okay?
Yeah, that sounds good, man. That'd be perfect.
Right, thank you very much, my friend.
Thanks for having me, man.
I will talk at you, brother.
All right, see you.
Never felt this down before. It's got my mind racing, thinking thoughts I shouldn't be thinking. So many things went wrong. So many friends have gone. I've been hurting for so long. Another day, and I'm still here. I prayed it won't find me, but it snuck up behind me.